Item number 1, water and sewer. Are there any comments concerning that?
Negative.
Negative. 2, planning, noise. We just had code enforcement officer give a presentation and answer questions. And we've come to a resolution where the rough draft will be forwarded to the planning board for their perusal. And we anticipate having setting the planning meeting, public meeting on February 13th for the public meeting to occur on March 13th. Item 3, building projects, library.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, the library is pretty much done. This is moving forward with the senior center with Dale. I got the library part pretty much
well
done.
So the senior center,
I have a question on the library. Did the contractor sign the contract yet?
I sent them out to him. I'm waiting for them to come back and then the insurance will come back.
Oh.
So we're all good.
We still have the HVAC project somewhat ongoing at the library.
Mhm.
it's good to know. So the discussion with
Dale?
Dale Gooch was with respect to work that he could potentially do up at the senior center.
Yeah,
Thanks for the clarification. Good.
and I wanna check in with the fire company too, and maybe Don might know or whatever, because some of that's in the main foyer. I don't know if that's something we can work out with the fire company too on that.
Depends
Yeah,
which way
because
the,
they do have responsibility for some of that area.
I'll talk if I can see,
Because
Mr. Redmond up there.
strictly, we're supposed to be focusing on the leased area that we pay for.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly where that is. I'm
Oh.
sure that high ceiling part going in is within that hallway.
Okay,
I think we can work together somehow.
so you'll be talking to the fire,
I'll talk to Rick on that.
Rick Redmond.
Yeah,
Okay. Grants, Dasney Parks. I received nothing. I don't know about council if anything come across your page.
See, nothing.
Nothing new. CDBG. The award was to be made. That was made, wasn't it? They were going to fund.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Sarah for an update on what's going on with the van and the funding and if she needs anything from us, I can send her an email.
Okay, thanks. But we did get, I think they announced 25,000.
As
Toward the
far as
purchase.
I'm aware, we did get it, but I don't know if
Nothing
she's
coming
actually
ready to-
received anything yet or what's happening with the actual purchase. I'll follow up with her.
Thanks very much. Are you still receiving this, Patty?
Yes,
Okay, good. Other, Dawn Izadorzek, would like to discuss bicentennial
Thank
committee.
you.
Town clerk Izadorzek.
Patty, I will email you a copy of the schedule. I should have sent it to you earlier.
okay,
Oh, here. So this is right now the current schedule as it stands for the bicentennial coming up. You'll notice that the very first thing at the top is on Monday, March 27th, which is one of our town board meetings. Our town board meeting actually coincides with our actual date of incorporation. So the plan is to sort of have a birthday cake kickoff celebration here on that night. So I'm figuring that we may want to move our board meeting up for that evening so that we can have the celebration afterwards. Because as I stated the other night, I'm afraid that if we have the celebration earlier beforehand, you'll never get people to calm down, sit down, and then be able to actually have your regular board meeting.
It's awkward because when they recognized the recreation committee recognized a couple of the coaches. And people boom, 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 and then we have break away to go to a meeting.
Yes,
Not
Yeah.
terribly satisfactory.
yeah.
how many people do you think are gonna be doing it?
Well, we plan to advertise it really good. I know that at least all of our bicentennial celebration committee members will be there, so just with them alone, you're probably looking at least 20 people. You know, plus hopefully anybody else from the community that we may be able to pull in.
Would that include potentially recently elected representatives from the county or the state? or-
Absolutely, I think
those
it would
kind
be
of
a great
things.
idea to invite them to come if they can make it to them.
Okay, how does that goes through from the supervisor's desk or the clerk's desk?
Yeah,
How-
we can make sure that they get invited.
It'd be a good idea if,
Mhm.
the least they could do is send a proclamation or something.
Proclamations, yeah.
And you'd have the addresses and names of all the. Because he talked just to, she was a former sheriff, Gallivan.
Mhm.
He had lunch with, so he'd probably be interested.
Yes,
And the fellow from Batavia, Holly,
Holly. Mhm.
at least those two.
Yeah.
Because I think they're our representatives.
Absolutely, yeah, I will make sure that happens. So just to quickly, I don't want to bore you to death with all the rest of this, but things that I want you to be aware of. Are obviously our opening, our bulk of our celebration is going to be centered around the July 4th holiday. It's going to start on Friday, June 30th, culminating really with closing ceremonies on Friday, July 7th, and then we do have a little after party for the scavenger hunt participants on that Sunday, July 9th. Obviously, I'm hoping that as many of you as will be in town and will be around will plan on attending the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. Because those are gonna be, you know, pretty big deal. We're gonna be doing all sorts of reading proclamations that we've received and opening the time capsule from 1998 and things like that. So
Exciting.
yes, hopefully you will all be able to be there. Couple other small, well, not small items to note, the bigger items to note, let's say. Our Saturday, July 1st, we're gonna be using Vets Park for a large concert. We do plan on getting tents, which I've already talked to Dave about. We're gonna have a tent up at the property that whole week, which will be utilized by all of these different events that are gonna be held up there. I do have a meeting set up with Newstead Fire Company, Akron Fire Company, Akron Police Department, and Danny on the 7th to go over traffic control concerns and parking concerns and things like that. And setting up where we're gonna put the tent and how we're going to set things up for each of the different events. So the first big one is the Strictly Hip concert, Saturday, July 1st. Then on Sunday, we're gonna utilize the majority of the park for a tractor and steam engine show. And we're also gonna have food trucks and beverage trucks there at that time. We'll also have the food trucks and beverage trucks for the Strictly Hip concert. And then the other big one is obviously on Wednesday, July 5th, we're gonna have the Buffalo Philharmonic here for a concert. And again, we will be having some sort of food beverage available and obviously parking concerns, traffic concerns. We've been given to believe that because of their followings at, and the BPO concert that happens in Clarence every year, that we're looking at minimum, probably 3,000 people at each of these events. So those are really gonna be our big things that are gonna be happening. So just wanted you guys to all be aware of where we are with this.
Super.
How many vehicles can we fit in that section between the church and the soccer fields, you know?
We feel pretty confident that we won't have any parking concerns. The church has also given consent that as long as we provide a couple porta potties in their parking lot,
Garbage
that we
cans?
can also utilize their parking lot for parking for the events. Plus we're talking with the school about getting a couple of small buses. And even if we have to like park people here and shuttle them up, or park them at Skyline Drive and shuttle them down, we're gonna arrange to have that ability to do that as well.
Oh,
Sounds good.
ooh, we can't get to the two parks. I just think of something, but I don't think there's a way to get to the two parks without, to the fields.
Oh, that's private property.
No, well, yeah,
That's,
I mean, you go through Drayers,
Yeah,
that's quite a distance though.
when you got that circle in a way.
I've
Impressive.
never figured out who made those in the wheat.
I'm talking about Crescent Drive.
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
I was just thinking if we got, I know there's a couple people in the area that have hay wagon rides with horses and that, if you had to go from one to the other, but.
It's very doable. It's not a problem. I mean, from Stan Victor's building, you have the accessibility because the snowmobilers use all, when there's snow.
Yeah.
But again, you have to have a sign off from the
Drayers.
Crayer Corporation.
Well, you gotta get the horses first.
Well, you got the hay.
So, you know, if you guys have any questions, obviously on any of this, let me know, you know how to get me. And, you know, the real big question now is maybe next week or two, discuss what time you may potentially want to move your board meeting to that point. And what time you want.
Noon.
What time you want. to start it. Noon,
I prefer to have the supervisor present for that discussion.
yeah, we've got time to make that decision.
Friday, June.
Now the
27th of
March 27th.
That's a Monday.
When's Easter?
Yeah.
You off?
No,
Anytime works for
like
me.
the first week of April is spring break.
Easter is the 9th of April. Well, this year, anyway. Does that take care of the?
Yep.
Thanks very much for,
You're welcome.
oh, just a question about food trucks.
Yes,
They have to have documentation that they're permitted to sell food and all that.
Yes.
That is done all ahead of time. through-
yes.
You take care.
Yeah, we have a little committee that is handling all of the food trucks and beer trucks and whatever, making sure that they have all the appropriate permits and everything that they're supposed to have.
Fine.
Yes,
Super.
Yeah.
Amazing. Stay healthy. Oh,
Thank you, Don.
uh, Item other B, Christmas blizzard summary of post-emergency meeting. I want to thank Don, town clerk, for generating the phone list and the people that are involved. She has one every year, but this year, based on the recent Christmas snowstorm, she thought it'd be prudent to have that information in the hands of all board members and those council members for us, so that we can reduce the time of communicating one to the other. And I want to thank her for that. And also, she and Councilman Joe, who takes very good notes.
Really?
Well, I'm not going to say it. Chickens walking across, but I want to thank her for that. Now that I know it, I just got my mailbox, so
I should have.
I'll peruse it.
Should have pegged them up. Perfect, perfect.
We'll be
Yeah, I
looking
would've
at
done that for you.
Would you? Love talking about.
Route 5 barn is item C. John, could you share anything on that?
Yeah, I did talk with, Andy Kalkenberg and Greg Brown there on they're taking the lead on it for the, board for the Lions Club. So they'd like to check the barn out to see if it's feasible for them. They were glad to hear that because for the obvious reasons that we talked about as far as access from the road, access to get electricity in there. And so as soon as we get in there, I left a message for Mike Bassanello to leave a key for me in my mailbox, so hopefully he'll do that.
I'm sorry, I missed it. What is going on in the Lions Club in the barn?
Oh, well, the Route 5 barn, the Lions need a place for storage. They wanted to add on to the pavilion that's up at the other park now. I don't know what to call that park,
They call it Skyline Park,
Skyline Park.
Right,
Stan Victor building that they built, donated.
So there's no electricity back there and it's really hard to build up there as it is with the rock. So I mentioned to him that we have this barn, if they wanted to invest in something, we have the barn on Route 5.
Okay, cool.
They need a 40 by 30 foot area. So we thought it'd be a way to kind of get the barn work done. And then I'll help them out and have some kind of a lease with them for their space over a certain amount of time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I'll give Mike till the end of the week. If not, I'll try and track him down.
So you don't have the key.
Not as
in.
of yet, I don't. I just asked him to leave. I called his phone. I couldn't leave a message because I guess the mailbox was full.
Oh,
So then I called the facility and left a message with Debbie.
Debbie.
Forrestal.
oh, yeah, but Rachel wasn't.
Rachel, yeah, Rachel wasn't there at the time, I
Yeah, I
guess,
guess,
or
okay.
whatever, so she's only part-time.
Okay.
So hopefully he'll give me a key. I got options.
And then you plan anticipating, doing the go see. with
Yeah, I'll be with
Greg and-
Andy and Greg on that, then we'll take a walk around and see what it looks like, and they might say it's not gonna work, but we
But at least
don't,
you gave
we
it a
look at
chance.
it, yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Use for it. Are there any other items before we go into executive session to deal with personnel issues?
The only one I have is the email. Did you guys see the email on the, I don't know if you guys have a copy on it, for the guy wanting us to
Yes,
go against New York State, banning gas appliances. Did you get that email or no?
That email.
Okay.
I think
It's a
that's
short and
just one of the
sweet.
Board members,
Yeah,
It was pretty short and sweet. All he's saying is, W. Wilkes, I think his name is.
yeah.
I just went out to the board members, yeah. As a resident of the town of Newstead, I respectfully ask that you collectively and actively participate in blocking any gas appliance ban put forth by New York State.
Period.
Name, address.
Is on Mill Road, what, 4100?
No, I mean, if that's,
there's only like 3 houses on the road.
but that's literally, I don't know, just like anything else that we kind of, we don't agree with it, and then it's just gonna be force fed down anyway, so is what I feel on that.
Well, that's why I was asking if they'd seen it or not.
I have not seen it.
I'll forward it
I
to
mean,
you.
obviously, we've done similar things before, so if
Right,
people are
right.
interested in doing that, I'm happy to put something
Okay.
together. But we can certainly think about that and let me know.
Personal opinion, I mean, the gas is so much more reliable in storms often than electricity. So if you're all totally electric and powers down, you're gonna freeze your tooties off.
Well, yeah,
It's
most of the generators that run your house are running off either natural or propane gas to run them too.
Right. I want to say that this is, I'm not sure if it's gonna be, you know, if I have a gas appliance right now and it goes out and I need to replace it, it may have an effect on that.
Well,
And
you
it's
go to-
definitely gonna have an effect on new builds.
you go to, well, new bills will hurt more because they gotta be inspected, right?
Right.
But
But it's still, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
yeah, sure, sure.
Well, we don't all have the luxury of a
Right.
37 Ford to haul it from
I
Pennsylvania.
wish I had a 37 Ford.
37, 87.
We're editing, right?
Oh, I keep forgetting about that. Hey, it's open mouth and sore foot. Any other issues on?
If any of you have questions about my notes from the Blizzard summary, I know Dan Kowalik he's in communication with us, Akron, both fire companies, with reference of a future purchase of materials, to stockpile.
Oh, I brought that, did you bring that, that was just to you and I.
Yeah, I mean, I have it, but I mean, I didn't want to send it out to everybody until we get our arms wrapped around it.
Yeah, it's basically, maybe we should do this in executive.
It's a
session.
wish list, right?
Yeah,
Just a wish list. Inter-municipality wish list, I guess.
so, yeah,
Us, Akron and Clarence.
the one thing that I talked to Dan about, and I don't know if it came up or not, I think one of the biggest things that have to really be addressed in these situations, and I don't know how he was supposed to check into it, was when you start dumping vehicles off the 90 and just toodaloo, you're on your own. We have to have something in place, the stage has to have something in place.
Yeah, that
To have
came,
alternate routes to go around the severe weather
came
instead
up,
of putting people that, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, he mentioned that at the meeting was at.
yeah. And oh, it was mentioned at the,
Oh, we mentioned it here at our meeting too?
Yeah, when he
Okay.
came and gave the presentation, and
Yeah.
eminently sensible, because they dumped them all off on Route
Right.
5.
because they
Yeah.
shut the 90 down, they
And
fixed them all.
93.
So I talked to him, then it must have been after that, because
Yeah.
I know we talked about it before that, and then he's probably talking about it here, we'd already talked about, it, so I probably checked out a little bit, and then. Now, back more.
I know American Rescue Plan funds cannot be used for stocking food or water. So just the FYI,
Now, what about cots and toiletries,
maybe.
non-perishable? Right?
That's a yes?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was his, I think that was his big push.
I got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm kind of thinking more long term. If the power was out, or it's a grid attack, whatever happens, and people need to just go and cook a meal, if there was some way for people to go. Not necessarily.
Those toiletries, yeah, this is, no, there's no food or water on this list.
Okay.
And these numbers were based off of what we had at our location. I mean, this was the 2 fire companies, the church. I'm all part of preparedness for sure.
Yeah,
Agreed. So, okay, any other, before we go to executive session?
More to follow on that, so I just wanted to. give you
More to
that,
follow,
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Fair
heads
enough.
up on it.
Uh,
We're good.
we're going to executive session, what's that, 8:09 or 8:08?
8:09,
808, 809,
10 seconds.
go move. Personnel,
That was my understanding,
okay,
personnel.
thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming. Steve.
Here.